Hi everyone, my name is Michael Diaz, and I will be your facilitator for today's Verve.AI mock interview activity and module. And I'm very excited to be here today to share a little more about this revolutionary AI resource, Verve.AI. And so, what is it, right? Verve.AI is a really cool platform that allows users to conduct their own AI mock interviews, but specifically tailor it to the company and the specific role that they want to apply to in the future. And why this is so amazing is that for a lot of us, it's very hard to simulate what that feeling feels like on interview day and like practice for these interviews in an effective way. And so this really alleviates that stress for our users. And it's a really cool and exciting tool that I'm excited to share a little more about today. But with that being said, I want to first provide a structure for how this video is going to flow. So first, I'm going to begin by sharing a little more about Verve.AI. What is it? Why it would be beneficial to use a platform like this. And then when we talk about co-intelligence AI, we're going to talk a little more about how this applies to this platform, Verve.AI. Next, I'm going to show you a final product. So once you complete this activity, once you complete your AI mock interview, what the final product should look like, you'll be provided with a detailed AI mock interview report. And so I'll share a little bit about mine that I completed. And then next, I'm going to do a very detailed step-by-step walkthrough of how you will be logging into Verve AI, setting up your personas, and then completing the AI mock interview for yourselves. Um, Now, we'll provide a example role and company that the example will be applying to. If you have a company, a role in mind, if you want to upload your own resume so that you can tailor this AI mock interview for yourself, we encourage it. And so I'll talk a little more about that once we get there. And then lastly, I'm going to close this activity in this module by sharing how you could submit your credit to earn this completion status for this module and activity. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we are. As you can see, I've navigated to our Canvas course where I'm on the Introduction to AI-Powered Interview Preparation. This is just the introduction. So what is Verve? Verve, again, is a very cool AI-powered interview prep platform that simulates real-life AI mock interviews in a low-pressure environment. But the special sauce here, the huge value that provides to all of you, is the ability to tailor these interviews and interview questions to the specific company, specific role that you're all seeking to apply to in the future. And beyond that, it provides detailed feedback on your responses. So, like I was saying in the final product I'm about to show you, once you complete this AI mock interview, it tells you in a very detailed report all of the things that you did a great job of, and then areas for you to improve on based off the responses that you provide the AI. And so it's really cool. It provides you with a scoring sheet of different categories so that you are able to learn from your interview and you could tailor and improve your responses in the future. So as you can see here with Verve, you are able to practice common behavioral interview questions. It really sets the scene for simulating that real life interview day, right? To the best that we can, you know. When I've, practiced interviews on my own, it's usually just me talking to myself. But like when I was completing this interview, the ability to speak one-on-one with someone, even if it's an AI agent, is really cool because it brings me back to how that feeling will look like on the actual interview day. And then lastly, you get that AI generated feedback to help you improve. And so we talk about why would we use a platform like this for interview prep? Like I said a little earlier, when you try to practice interviews on your own, at least in my experience, I'm a little less motivated. It's less structured, right? Because I don't actually have that other person that is waiting for my response. And so in this way, I'm able to practice early and often, receive specific guidance, right? Another thing is when people practice interviews on their own, who is providing that feedback to them? Oftentimes it's themselves, and you can get in your head about, did I do this right? Did I not? By using a platform like this, you're able to receive external feedback from someone else who is judging your responses. And then it builds confidence, right? So you're rehearsing in a very realistic setting, which is very valuable, that is not easily accessible to most people. And you learn through feedback and reflection, not just memorizing what you had on a flashcard, right? Um, and then lastly, how co-intelligence is involved with Verve. And so here you can think about AI as supporting your growth, right? It's generating questions tailored to companies and roles you want to apply to. It doesn't control the responses that you provide. It supports them by offering specific ways you could answer questions, but it doesn't directly tell you what to say. That's up to you and your interpretation and your own growth. Um, and then what we'll use Verb for is practicing job interviews for real ones, uploading our resumes, and getting structured feedback. The strengths here again is you have easy access to completing these interviews. It helps practice structure like the STAR method, which is another popular method that people use for interview prep, and encourages self-reflection. Some limitations, it is free. I believe you have up to 3 sessions to interview, but we're going to complete one all today. So now that I've gone over the introduction, the next step is going to be showing you the final product. So I'm going to be sharing my own detailed interview report. Now, it was a impromptu interview. I wasn't practicing that long for it, so I'm just going to show you that one now. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, I'm on the Verve.AI platform. I've logged in, I completed the interview, followed all the steps. What I'm looking at now is my final interview report. Now, I want to preface that when you do complete your AI mock interviews, it's a limit of 30 minutes. As you can see, I did around half. At 16 minutes, I concluded the interview just to show you the final product. And another thing you'll notice here is it says teacher at Google. So in our activity, the example that we provide you all that you can use is you're applying for a job at Google as a teacher. So, of course, this is the example we provide. If you have a specific position and company that you want to work for, let's say you want to work as a product manager at Palo Alto Networks, you can more than welcome, and we actually encourage that you align that with your own career goals to make this activity and this module much more personalized to you. Now, with that being said, I submitted the sample resume that we also included in this activity, and based off of these criteria, I went ahead and completed the interview, and this is what my detailed report looks like. So as you can see here, it was a behavioral interview. I completed 16 minutes of the interview. Some of the analytics here says my responses in terms of relevance was at an 8 out of 10. Accuracy in, as you can see here, evaluating the correctness of my technical explanations solutions is a 7 out of 10. Clarity is at 8 out of 10 as well. So you can see it's very detailed, very comprehensive. And if you actually scroll down here, interview feedback. So what have I done right this time? Adaptability. So I demonstrated ability to adjust lesson plans for diverse student needs, including language differences and varying age groups. Innovative teaching. Successfully integrated a metaverse platform to boost student engagement and participation, problem solving, clear communication, and whatnot. If we look at what improvements I need, lack of specificity. Responses sometimes lack detailed examples, especially regarding strategies used in specific situations. So you can read through these as well, but this is what your final product should look like. And you can even look at the specific examples here for the questions that were asked. So it's very cool, very, very holistic. So that's what the final product should look like. The next part of this video will be a step-by-step walkthrough on how you can complete this AI mock interview for yourselves. Very exciting. So let's go ahead and get started. Perfect. So here's where we begin our detailed breakdown of how to complete this AI mock interview for yourselves. So the first step is going to be creating a Verve account. Here, and by the way, I've navigated here to the step-by-step guide on our Canvas course. So please navigate to here. The first step is going to be creating a Verve account. So I've included the link here that you can click on and register an account. So I'm already registered. I'm on the intro user phase right now. So please return to this video once you get to the and sign into your account. Great. Okay, so you all should have registered and signed in with your account. So returning back to our instructions, you'll be so you've logged in, clicking start for free. We're going to create that account. And the first step, once you've signed into your account, is we're going to select, I have an upcoming interview. As you can see here on the screen. So let's go ahead and click option. Cool. And so you can get this screen. Now, going back to our steps. So now, depending on what company or role you want to apply for, our example, like I've shared before, is Google, with the role being teacher for preschool, elementary, high school, etc. So I'm going to fill this out, but keep in mind, for those of you who already have an understanding of the role, the company you want to work for, feel free to select those criteria. If you want to really make this personal, if you want to get most of this AI mock interview, select those companies and roles that really tailor to your own journey. So I'm going to type in teacher here, and then once we select the company and the role that we want to interview for, there are specific criteria we have to select. So as you can see here, we have to click each one of these. So it says interview co-pilot. I believe it was the question bank. Role specific interview. Role specific interview. And lastly, AI mock interview. Perfect. So once I uploaded my company, my role, and the 4 tools that we want to incorporate in this AI mock interview, I'm going to click next right here. So now all you do to please return the video once you submit your company, your role, and selected the 4 tools that we need for this interview. Okay, perfect. So you all should have followed the last few steps, and you're at this page where it says upload your resume. The next step in completing this activity is we're actually going to click skip for now. This is something that we are able to do later in this activity. So let's skip uploading a resume right now. Cool. So Verve.AI is kind of setting everything up using our preferences. And so you should now be at this interface. What I'm going to do is go back to our step-by-step instructions and see what happens next. So we've selected skip for now for the resume upload. And now we're actually on step 3. So starting your mock interview. So on this new screen, we're going to select AI mock. So once we've selected AI mock, the next instruction says to select behavioral questions on the right. Perfect. So please, I'm going to give you the opportunity to catch up to where I am now. So please return to this video once you've selected AI mock and selected question bank behavioral interview. All right, perfect. So you all should have selected behavioral interview for the question bank selection. Next, we're going to move forward to selecting our persona. So our persona is um, who we are as an interviewee, who we are, right? What's our personal background? What are our skills? So we actually need to create this persona. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this new persona uh, mobile device here, and it's going to bring up this menu. We're going to select create your new persona again, and here we're going to be presented with a screen that allows us to submit a resume, outline our company name, the company's description for the AI to learn, the position and the job description. And all of this is for the AI agent to know what kind of questions we should ask about to really get the best of our responses and to emphasize our experience and skills. So for those of you who are using the example of applying for a teacher role at Google, you can find this sample resume here. So if you click on this link, you'll be able to see this sample resume of Tom Holland from Oakland. His education went to Berkeley, the best school, of course. And he has a bunch of teaching experience, right? He's worked as a tutor, as an academic mentor, and whatnot. So if you're using this example, we're going to go ahead and click that link, and you're going to click this download button here to download it to your laptop. And this will allow us to upload this resume on Verve. So again, if you're using the example, you can find the resume on the Canvas step-by-step instructions. If you're personalizing this AI mock interview to a role and company that you want to apply to in the future, feel free to upload then your own personal resume in this upload button. But I'm going to give you all the chance to compile your resume if you're using the example resume to get that downloaded. And please return to this video once that is complete. Awesome. Okay, so you all should have either downloaded the example resume or have polished and found your personal resume. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and actually upload our resume and complete each of these fields to complete creating our persona. So I'm going to do the example resume again. So what I'm going to do here is click on upload and select upload new resume. Here's where I'm going to be able to click on this to upload the resume that I just downloaded. So if I go to downloads, I'll find the sample resume for activity here and select open. Great. So once I've uploaded it, I still have to choose the resume. It's a little odd. So I have to click on this and select the sample resume. Perfect. Now it's on file. Again, I'm doing the example. I'm doing the example of the teacher at Google position. So what I'm going to do for company name is type Google. And for the job or the company description, if you're using this example, you can simply copy and paste this description we've provided you on the Canvas instructions. So I'm going to copy this, paste it on the company description. Same thing for position, right? I'm going to type in teacher. And you can find the job description for a teacher on the instructions here. I'm going to simply copy this and paste it. Cool. So I've uploaded my resume. I've selected the company name, company description, position, and the job description. So I'm set to go. I have everything needed to create this persona. Once you are at this step, we are going to submit and create that persona. So I'm going to go ahead and click submit. Cool. So you can see my persona is now active. You see that it says Google and it says teacher. So I want to give you the time to now catch up where I am. So please return to this video once you've uploaded all the information to create your new persona and have submitted it, and your persona is now live. So, okay, perfect. So you all should have completed your new persona, and really you're ready to go. You're ready to get your AI mock interview started. So going back to the step-by-step instructions on Canvas, you'll see here that we're on step 4. So practice and get feedback. So we're really ready to start this interview. So going back to Verve.AI, if you select AI mock on this left-hand side, it's going to present this AI mock launchpad. These are the last 3 steps we need to get started with this interview. So the first step is selecting your question bank. Now for this interview, I want us all to select behavioral questions, which essentially says that it's going to provide behavioral questions based off the persona during the interview. So let's go ahead and select that. And then when selecting the persona, we're going to select the one that we just created. So as you can see on mine, here I'll find the Google teacher persona that I just created. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And then you can read about my persona here. Obviously, I added all this information, so I'm just going to click select here. And then just look at the launch checklist. But I'm ready to go, it seems like. Time limit is 30 minutes. I have 5 sessions left. Audio is good. I think we're ready to go. So I want you all to complete your AI mock launchpad. And before you actually launch your interviews, I want to give you the time to catch up to where I am. So please return to this video once you're at this screen, once you're ready to click launch and begin your own AI mock interview. Okay, awesome. So you all should be at this step, ready to click launch and start your AI mock interview. So for learning purposes, I'm going to click launch and begin answering just a few of the questions that the AI agent asked me for this interview, just so you get a feel of how to navigate the interview, and then also a few of the other steps like using the Copilot tab for suggestions and example responses. So please feel free and just watch kind of me navigate this AI interview. Again, it's going to be just a few minutes just so you get a feel. But I'll go ahead and select launch right now. Okay, so let's do this. Launching session. Okay. All right, so welcome to AI mock interview. So here you can see about the Copilot assistance. This button is available below to assist you throughout the session. Use it to get real-time tips, feedback, and whatnot. All right. Wow, this is a little nerve-wracking. You know, I haven't really done an interview practice in quite a while. So here we go, I guess. So we'll start the interview.
Welcome to Verve.AI mock interview. I am your interviewer today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here and learn more about this position.
Let's start with the first question. Tell me about a time you had to explain a complex topic to a young student.
Yeah, this is a great question. One time I had to teach a student a complex topic when I was teaching English in a rural village in Panama one summer for a month. Um, these students were 4th grade students and they had never learned English in their lives. And so this topic was naturally very complex for them to understand. And so what I did was I taught them the basics of English. I started with um, language such as foods and colors. I started very simple, and I helped kind of build that introductory level of English for them. And that was a great experience. Oh, I just realized my microphone isn't on. That's why it's not working. Sorry about that, guys. No wonder. Okay. Um, so yeah, this is a great question. Um, One time I'd explain a complex topic to a young student was when I was teaching English one summer in a rural village of Panama. So I was teaching English to these students who only spoke Spanish and had never learned the English language. And so what I did was, as I was teaching these fourth grade students, I broke down lesson plans by first teaching them about simple words like colors and foods in English so that they can grasp a introductory level understanding of some of the more common words that we would use. Um, and what I did was I tried to act out some of the words for them to understand, um, because as younger students, that was more entertaining for them. And so I adapted the way that I taught them. Um, and at the end of the summer, they were able to write a short story in English, which was very rewarding and showed that the ways that I adapted my learning styles for them proved to be successful. So I'm going to click next question here.
That's a great example. Now, I'd like to delve into another scenario. Can you share an experience where you had to manage conflicting priorities while working on a project?
Yeah, this is a great question. Um, yeah, so one time when I was teaching, I had to create a lesson plan in a very short amount of time, um, for the next week. And this was another example in which I had to adapt my learning style, because I was teaching AI to a group of students who had no understanding of technology. Um, they didn't really use tools like ChatGPT, and at the same time that I had to create these new lesson plans, I was also being pulled aside for work to expand on a group project that I was working on at the same time. And so what I did was I communicated to one of my teams and I let them know that I needed to prioritize creating these lesson plans for these students as it was a very tight deadline. And the team understood, and we all worked flexibly to um, uh, to provide successful outcomes that worked for both of us and both teams.
Just wanted to circle back to my last question. Could you share an example of managing conflicting priorities?
Yeah, so I didn't elaborate that much on the last question. Um, Example of managing conflicting priorities. Like I mentioned, um, the one tight turnaround for creating the lesson plans was for students groups that had no understanding of AI. So I had to adapt my existing lesson plans to break down AI in a very simplistic way, where I was explaining it as a mix of data and mathematics. AI really at the core is based off of the data that is fed. That's why ChatGPT knows so much, because it has access to all these search engines like Google. And so it was a lot of work to simplify those lesson plans. And at the same time, I also had to um, teach a class of students that entire day, that the lesson plans were due. And so what I did was I taught these classes of students during the day, and at the end of the day, I worked for a few hours to adapt those lesson plans, and I was able to meet both outcomes. It just took a whole day of work, but I understand that when two priorities are conflicting, You have to really put all hands on deck.
Okay, let's move on for now. Can you describe a situation where you had to adapt your teaching style to meet the needs of a diverse group of learners? What strategies did you employ?
Yeah, so this is a good example for me because it brings me back to when I was teaching in Panama. I was teaching English to a group of Spanish-speaking students, and in that time, I had all of my lesson plans were in English, and so I didn't really have a need to facilitate lessons in Spanish just because I was teaching in America. But that was a really big wake-up call. I had to adapt my teaching style to meet the needs of these students because one, they had no understanding of English language. Two, I had to navigate their teaching styles, and it could really fluctuate across these different regions. So what I would do is I would go on walks with them, and I would point out different words in English like birds or trees, because I was teaching kindergartners, and so as younger students, they learn through engagement, right? Like walking or playing with these games or toys. And so I tried my best to really make it as applicable to them in the real world, and it proved to be really successful.
Just wanted to circle back to my last question. Could you describe a situation where you had to adapt your teaching style to meet the needs of a diverse group of learners? What strategies did you employ?
Okay, so as you can see, my interview, it was a rough draft. I wasn't going specifically off the resume that I submitted. It was more based off my own personal experience, so there was a mismatch in how that aligned. But this is how you will be completing the AI mock interview based off of your resume or the example one. This is just merely for you to kind of gauge how the flow will work and what to expect. So that is what we are going to be doing in this activity. And I'm really excited for all of you to personalize this activity and just get to know a new AI powered tool that is really helpful in advancing your career growth. So, with that being said, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish off with a closing on how you can submit your assignment to gain credit for completing this module and activity. Okay, cool. So now we should have all completed our interviews. So please return to this video once you've completed your AI mock interview and you've gone through that process. Right now, I'm going to show you how to submit your assignment to gain credit for completing this activity. And as you can see here, I'm on the Canvas course, and I'm here under the tab modules. If you scroll down, you will find the interview preparation module. What I want you to do is click on reflection prompt. Now, here's where you find a prompt, a discussion board that you will reply to with each of these bullet points to gain credit for completing this activity and this module. So in your post, please include information on what you learned about how you communicate under pressure, a type of question you struggled with and how you could improve it, what feedback helped you the most, and how you will personalize your answers to better reflect who you are. Now, with that being said, I want to thank you all for completing this activity, completing this module. I hope you learned more about the powerful AI tools that are accessible for you all to use as you prepare for your next career opportunity or even just enhance the way that you perform on your job interviews. I had a great time creating this module, and I hope you all took so much away from it. Thank you all.